You saw the red flags, you felt the anxiety, you noticed the inconsistency, you knew something wasn't right, and yet you stayed. Not because you didn't see the truth, but because seeing the truth and accepting the truth are two different things. Because leaving isn't just about logic, it's about survival. And your nervous system doesn't care about logic. It cares about familiarity. It cares about attachment. It cares about avoiding emotional loss, even when that attachment is hurting you. I would know this because I was crazy and silly enough to stay in toxic relationships, even when I knew I should have left a long time ago. This is why many people stay in relationships that break them, not because they don't know better, but because something inside them is still trying to finish a story that never had a safe ending. The first reason you stay is because you confuse attachment with love. Here's the thing, attachment is powerful. It forms through repetition, through emotional cycles, through shared vulnerability, through pain and relief, especially pain and relief. Because when someone hurts you and then comforts you, your brain associates them with resolution, not just pain, but relief from pain. And this creates something called trauma bonding, where the person hurting you becomes the same person your nervous system depends on to feel okay again. So leaving them doesn't just feel sad, it feels like emotional withdrawal, like losing your source of stability, even when they were the source of your instability. The second reason is that you keep hoping the person you saw in the beginning will somehow come back. Because in the beginning, they were different. They were attentive, present, loving, safe. And that version of them felt real. So you stay, waiting for that version to return. You convince yourself they're still in there somewhere. You blame stress, their past, their trauma, their circumstances. You make excuses. Because accepting that the beginning was temporary feels devastating. It feels like losing something that never fully existed. But the truth is, who someone is consistently tells you more than who they were temporarily. The third reason is that you learn to tolerate emotional pain. If you grew up in an environment where your emotional needs were not consistently met, where love came with criticism, distance, or unpredictability, then pain became part of your definition of love, consciously, but subconsciously. So when someone hurts you, it doesn't immediately feel like a reason to leave. It feels like something to endure, something to fix, something to survive. Because leaving was never modeled as an option. Staying was, enduring was, silencing yourself was. And now, even as an adult, your nervous system still follows that script, even when your mind knows better. The fourth reason is fear. Fear of them, fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of emptiness, fear that you won't find someone else, fear that maybe this is the best you'll ever get, fear that maybe the problem is you. So you stay in something familiar because familiar pain feels safer than uncertain freedom, even when that freedom is exactly what would heal you. But here's the truth, you don't stay because you're weak. You stay because you learn to survive in emotional environments where leaving didn't feel safe. You stay because your nervous system adapted. You stay because you loved deeply. You stayed because you believed. You stayed because you hoped. And there is nothing shameful about that. But healing begins the moment you stop asking yourself how to make it work and start asking yourself why you are willing to accept what hurts you. Because love should not require you to betray yourself. Love should not require you to shrink. Love should not require you to live in confusion. The moment you realize that peace is not something you earn, it's something you allow, everything changes. And one day you will look back and realize you didn't stay because you were weak. You stayed because you hadn't met the version of yourself yet, who knew they deserved more. And once you meet that version of yourself, you don't stay. You don't chase. You don't beg. You walk away. And this time, you don't come back.